your knowledge with us there in concerning Loki and just on the collectibles and everything. You're, as I said earlier, it is a blessing to have you as part of the group and be able to tap into your expertise and share with us. I know we've got a few that are still hanging out with us. I know that was a long feature, but I think it was a great thing. So we've got some on the Facebook side, some here in the Zoom room. Well, Adam, I'll throw it to you first. Any kind of things you want to add to the Loki presentation that you provided for us, brother?
Yeah, sure. We've had we've had 2 episodes of Loki now. I presume, can we go into spoilers here?
I know I've seen them all. I don't know. What about you, Jim? Have you watched them all yet?
Go for it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. If you don't want to be spoiled, just know that spoilers may be coming your way. So you've been
sure.
How about that?
Sure. Go ahead. Well, we've had the 2 episodes, and the last one really ends on a cliffhanger.
Right.
It's the main one that I think relates to things in the comics. I don't know if there's anything else that's been like a major issue. There's little Easter eggs here and there, but the major cliffhanger at the end is we see a female, what supposedly we're led to believe is a female version of Loki, another variant. What the series is setting up is Loki to appear in different forms, different variants from different points in alternate timelines, but possibly, I mean, the implication is that they're from multiverses that have been created by a fractured timeline, because they've shown they showed some images of other variants that they didn't really talk about. Like there was one of like a blue ice giant, Loki, and so we may see, we could see Kid Loki, we could see all kinds of other versions. We likely will now. But this Lady Loki, there's been some mixed signals that have been sent by Disney. Initially, it started out with, I think, a promo where they, famously said he's gender fluid, and people speculated, well, are they referring to the Norse legend where Loki becomes like a female horse or something and gives birth to Odin's like 8-legged horse, or Loki, in his mischievousness, he will change form and pretend to be various people, some of them women. But there is this Lady Loki where in the comics, Lady Sif, I guess, needs a new body to transfer into, but Loki beats her to it and transfers himself into this female body, and that becomes Lady Loki. And I guess he uses that body for a couple of years. And I think most fans on the internet have assumed right off that was who this Lady Loki might be. But there's another major possibility, and I guess that comes from in the Spanish version of the show. In the end titles, they give the name of the character. I forget. I think I've got it right here. Starts with an E. Let's see if I'll pick it up quickly.
Dude, that's a deep dive of research right there, brother.
Well, I was able to do it pretty quickly. Thankfully, there are articles on this. It's Sylvie, I guess, is the name of the character given in the Spanish version of the show. And Sylvie is actually not a Lady Loki. It is a version of the Enchantress, who is one of the foes mentioned previously. And this is version 2 of the Enchantress. It's a woman on Earth who Loki kind of tricks and gives her powers. makes her think she's like a fallen Asgardian goddess, and Loki tries to manipulate her. Blah blah blah. But so it's possible. It's, I think the most likely scenario is, which Marvel Studios often does, is they've taken multiple scenarios from the comics, they're merging them, and they're kind of making their own direction with it. So that's probably what's happening there.
Yeah, and I would think, and maybe you've commented on this before, there's so many aspects in the comics with all these characters, whether we're talking about Captain America or Thor or Hulk or whoever, there's so many different stories and alternate universes, all these been in. So when you get to the MCU, like you said, they go in and just take the best pieces and then create this character or portray this character the way they see fit. So
right.
Interesting to see what they do here. What are you doing, Jim? Playing a trumpet over there?
It's my dog. She's excited,
Oh, she likes Thor's. I mean, Loki as well.
Nordic stuff. So
well, I've wondered with the Loki series if, this is kind of paving the way, and obviously it is, for the next phase of the MCU. Because what is it? The Doctor Strange movie is what? Multiverse of Madness.
Right, yeah. And the Spider-Man movie, probably everybody's heard, it's rumored to really go bananas with the whole Spider-Verse, and have every Spider-Man from the previous movies, and all the villains and tie-in stuff from all the Sony pictures as well. There's rumors that it'll even incorporate characters from other things, like the Netflix Marvel shows.
So those are Daredevil and Punisher.
Yeah, exactly. Daredevil's a big one, because Daredevil and Spider-Man, they're kind of together in the comics a lot. Because it's the same part of New York, basically. So
I'm surprised they never did anything with those two together.
Right? Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, there's got to be a Daredevil in one of these Spider-Man movies. They've made so many. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't they have one of his helpers / co-worker?
Right.
It's only right. I mean, it's kind of like making a Batman movie and not mentioning one of his villains or one of his, like Robin or whatever. What I love about Marvel and what I hate about Marvel is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They take things and they just put it in and go, and whatever comes out is like, hey, this is a new thing, let's do it. Right. I hate it because some of it's so hard to keep track of. Some of it, I mean, unless you're really hardcore, Loki dies, Loki comes back, Loki does this, now he's a girl, and he might not be. It's so intense that you have to be in everything to understand it. And I remember going to see those Avenger movies and stuff in the theaters and having those little teasers at the end. You're like, oh, wait, and some come to pass, some don't. Like they've had about making how many movies for the longest time, and it's crazy. I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
Yeah,
love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
it's been neat to kind of watch, how things have progressed, from that Iron Man movie to where we are now. It's just amazing, the storylines that have developed, it's the technology that's developed along the way with the movies. Obviously, something we're accustomed to with the following of Star Wars that many of us are involved with in this group too. But it's been neat to see, and with the Disney Plus, of course, has revolutionized it all. That platform, bringing it right into your home, where I can't wait till Wednesday night after church, honestly, to get home and watch Loki. So,
right.
And then, Fridays, this is a Bad Batch. So, all those type things. So, back to kind of the show itself, just trying to pull some of the things that I've seen and put the pieces together. do we really have, I guess in the MCU, has there been an acknowledgement to a multiverse yet, or do you think this is the origin of it, of what's happening here?
In Doctor Strange, when he's first introduced to all the idea of magic and everything, they do talk about the multiverse.
Okay.
But it's not talked about in terms of the alternate timelines and things, and alternate versions of people. It's more abstract in Doctor Strange, more on the bizarre side. You have Dormammu as this evil entity, but he's kind of beyond, a human, or the intelligent the typical intelligent beings. He's
Right.
something more, almost godlike. So yeah, and I think is it Endgame? When they meet the Ancient One, she talks about it a little, but I think this is the first time here where we're really getting into the nitty gritty and talking about how it works and what the possibilities are. But my understanding is that's kind of that's the theme of this phase of Marvel. I think Kevin Feige doesn't like to call it a phase right now, but that seems to be what it is. I don't know I don't know what his thing about not calling it a phase is. Maybe they just want to have a fresh start, but and not sound, old and bogged down. But yeah, because we've got this show, and the previous one, Scarlet Witch, kind of set this up too, because she in a sense it was almost like her own little universe that she created.
Right, yeah.
But that very end clip where the kids, apparently they're off in another universe, and they exist, and that was a weird little thing they didn't explain, because in the end when she says goodbye, she thanks them for choosing her. Well, if there's something she created, how did they choose her? There's obviously there's more reality to them than some of the other things that was going on. They're seeds from outside, it would seem. But so they're off in another alternate universe, and she's got to figure out how to get them, which will certainly play a part of the Doctor Strange movie, which is the multiverse of madness.
Right.
We've got the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man. What else? There's been some hints at some of the other movies I think will also delve into. The Ant-Man. Ant-Man is about Kang the Conqueror. He's the villain, and yeah. Kang the Conqueror is kind of he's the big time travel guy in Marvel. Okay. He's a villain that he's all about going back and forth, and there are comics, where there's like dozens of Kang, all together. I think there's even like a big council of Kang that's like the Senate in Star Wars almost, at one point, because his timeline gets so tangled up. When you see several Kangs, you don't know which one is the first and which one is the last, and it just gets all mixed up because he travels so much, and he's all big on the multiverse and all of that. And so there's some speculation we could see Kang in this, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
Or that these three timekeepers, one of them might be Kang also.
So that would be an introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be his introduction, preparing for the Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, that's because I don't know much about him, but just judging from what you said there, it seems like he would be a perfect fit in this Loki series.
And there was just a new action figure for him. It's a really cool action figure with a couple extra hands and a rifle, and it's classic Kang from the comics, all purple with a blue face, and somehow I ended up with two. So
that's Jim's story of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have rooms full.
Yes.
Oh, I'll bet.
Oh, goodness gracious.
One day, once I settle everything in and I have everything more organized with the COVID stuff, it's been hard because I'm getting stuff in. It's just not going out as fast as it comes in because I'm not doing shows. So once I get that mad chaos organized to a point, then I might do a little, Cantina special, like welcome to the room of, my storage room of everything,
That would be fun. I really need, it used to be I just needed a Star Wars room, but now I definitely need a Marvel room as well. So, and I'm kind of scared with G.I. Joe that someday I might need a G.I. Joe room with all the new toys.
Oh yeah, it's
what I like about the Marvel, what they're doing now, it seems as though they're picking and choosing what characters go on with shows or movies. And I know it's, of course, it's based off of popularity. They're not going to make something about nobody. But they seem to make it work. They make it work from Captain Marvel to, Thanos on the Loki, like we're talking about it. It flows well, even though, like I said before, it seems chaotic.
Right, yeah. It does seem very chaotic, but I like that these last 2 years or so, they're going back with the MCU figures and they're filling in all those gaps. These ones in the fall, we get Quicksilver from Ultron, and we get Surtur, big huge figure, and we finally get an Odin. We get a bunch of stuff from, there's several sets from Iron Man that we didn't get from those movies, and what's his name, Jon Favreau, his character. So they're filling in all those gaps. That's pretty cool.
They have a lot of gaps to fill with a lot of different Marvel in general, or comics. From X-Men to everything, there's so many characters out there that you can easily make wave after wave of. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing what's next. Just as long as it's not the same old Wolverine or the same old Iron Man,
right?
America, because that's the three big.
Yeah.
I
get tired of seeing those figures, to be honest. The Wolverine, Captain America, and Iron Man. Now, I keep hearing people say that July is going to be a huge month for Marvel Legends, but I don't know what they're talking about. Can you explain that?
There's not only there's some with what I've learned through Hasbro is there's small times where it's kind of a lull in things. Then they have a big time for Marvel, which is usually a summer for me. That's when I get all the waves. That's like I'm just starting to get, like I just got the one wave in with the villains. They're starting now. It's going to be like 2-3 a month usually now, and then it'll die off, and then Star Wars comes back towards the end of the year.
Gotcha.
They have some releases that are coming out that they haven't talked about yet. I know they're going to mention some of that next month, and I heard a rumor that they're going to do another one of those Hasbro like GoFundMe things for another figure.
HasLab.
Yeah, the HasLab. I don't know. We'll see. And I know, like, the second Venom and all that. There's so many figures coming out that like I know the next one I think I'm supposed to get is an Iron Man set. But you name it. Like I said, there's
Right.
so many. But I know that next month they usually focus right around June, July on the big
Okay.
Marvel stuff. So
Mhm.
they say it every year, and everybody gets all excited. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the exclusive kick in the butt. They're saying, "Hey, it's exclusive. You'll never find it." Thanks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Now, Adam, because obviously I know you're a Marvel Legends guy, Joe, Star Wars, but like with Steve, he's a Marvel Legends guy, but he doesn't like the MCU figures. He's just like, I want just the comic figures. So for you, when it comes to Marvel Legends collecting, do you have some parameters you try to stay within, or you're like, no, just hit me with all of it? What's going on there?
Well, I'll buy anything that I like. So there, even if it's in a category that I don't usually go there, if it's something really cool, I'll dip my toe into that. For instance, I don't really care for the X-Men comic stuff. That's one of the least appealing to me, the X-Men comics. But I do like the X-Men movies. So I've bought some of those figures, not all of them. But if there's a character from the movies I really like, then I might buy the comic figure, like oh gosh, I forget his name now. The blue skin character that can jump with the tail, the forked tail, and the Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler. He had a really cool action figure with the most recent one with alternate hands and a sword, and he had 3 different heads, which was really extravagant and just a really cool figure. So I've got a couple of those, but I grew up with Marvel, from back in the 80s. There was like the Spider-Man cartoon with Iceman and the Fire Lady, and there was the Hulk TV show and stuff like that. So I grew up with it, but I wasn't really big into it. It really wasn't till the MCU that it really got its claws into me. Yeah. So I think of that as my modern entry point. So it's those figures that I'm really attached to, the MCU. But of those, my Thor are my real favorite. Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy. So those I've got to have, all the figures I can get hold of. And then I'll buy, some on the periphery of that, different ones. And I end up, as I go, I end up filling in the gaps here and there. So eventually I'll probably end up with all the MCU figures. So there are some that I'm missing. But I got in with the Hasbro Marvel Legends, so I don't have any of the Toy Biz or any of that stuff. I like Spider-Man too, so I've got all the Hasbro Legends Spider-Man in the boxes and on the cards. That's the only one I'm completist about, in the box and on the cards. Everything else I buy, it's with the intention of eventually opening it. Though I do have quite a backlog of things I just haven't bothered to open yet. But I started out thinking I was just going to buy a few, and now I just have a really obscene collection, and I'm really almost embarrassed about it. I'm feeling guilty, but someday I need to do some YouTube videos of showing my collection. Yeah. But the problem is they're all, they're in like the plastic drawers you get at Walmart, the open ones, but I have all these, plastic drawers and cabinets just full of loose figures. So I'd have to actually get them all out and set them up just to do the video and then put them back. So, but it would make some good YouTube. Yeah, a lot of work, but yeah, maybe I'll get some clicks.
Yeah. Oh, I think you would. I know, folks here would love it. And I mean, as far as the Geek Out Loud crew, they'd be all over something like that as well.
Right.
Oh man, yeah. So that answered another question I had is if you're an opener or not. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. Let's the Spider-Man. You want to keep those
right, yeah,
sealed and intact. So well,
those MCU figures that came out, the 10-year ones, the black and red boxes, didn't sell very well. They like nobody really wanted them.
Really?
It was really weird. And when I first got them, I was getting them before anybody, and I think there was one or two that actually went, and the rest kind of slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Lucas asked you like, are you a certain MCU or comic? I have guys that are strictly comic, which they will not buy anything movie related at all, unless the Build-A-Figure in it is a comic Build-A-Figure. Right. And then I know people that are strictly movie guys that won't buy the comics. They're like, oh, they're too cheesy for me. But I'm like you, where if I like it, I'm going to buy it. If I like that sculptor, I like the look of it. The first wave of Marvel Legends that I bought was the Ragnarok because I love the movie. I love the characters in it. So I got all those. And I just happened to get lucky and walked in and they just put a full set out.
Right.
But I like that. I didn't go deeper, thank God, because I think my wife would divorce me and I'd have to, live in the, van down by the river thing. But
right.
But yeah, it's one of those. If I like them, like Punisher. I like the older school Punisher comic. I love the figure. Spawn, stuff like that, comic wise. I grew up reading comics, so seeing a comic style Spider-Man. I love Ultimate Spider-Man, especially like McFarlane. I really like the look of that. So I have a tendency to lean more towards that. But
right,
it's there. If I like it, I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at too, with especially just starting out with the Marvel Legends stuff, because I blame Steve and Jim and Jay on that, and G.I. Joe stuff too. But it's I'm just kind of picking and choosing. There's no when it comes to Star Wars, I'm more of a completist on some things, but not all the way across the board like some guys. But
well, Jim, you mentioned the 10th anniversary Marvel Legends figures that came out like maybe it was 2 years ago. And it's interesting with those because I did buy a bunch of them because they were really good sets, and to me they were some of the first really must-have 2-packs, because like the Hela and what's his name, I mean it's like museum quality almost action figures. It's amazing. I actually got 2 of those, one to open and one to keep in the box. I didn't buy them all, but I just kind of picked and choose what I wanted. But there were a bunch of Thor things around that time. But one thing though, almost where I think Hasbro is shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, is all these anniversary, special collections, limited editions sets, that they made it look like that anniversary thing was a big deal, but then every summer it seems like they're doing another anniversary 2-pack and 3-pack, this whole of like 10 different ones. They're doing the same thing with Star Wars now. Well, I realize this year's a special year because of 50th anniversary Lucasfilm, though I don't really it's a whole weird thing with that. It just doesn't mean much to me.
I want some American Graffiti stuff if we're doing Lucasfilm 50 years.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody thought that meant Willow, Indiana Jones, all these other movies that we were going to get some new figures, not repacks for the 4th, 5th, and 6th time just on a different card. And that's the thing. Well, these cards are cool, the Clone Wars and the Power of the Force and the Kenner, and eventually they're starting to do too many. And when I saw these Power of the Force figures, these 3 figures, the Han and the Luke and the Greedo, it's like, this is the 4th time they've been repacked. And they were just repacked, not even like a year ago. And $27 each for a repack, I don't want to pay it for figures I've got still on the cards in all those other repacks. But Marvel, it doesn't feel so much like a repack issue, although they do repaint the same bodies, but it works better for Marvel than it does for Star Wars.
With Marvel is a case of Marvel comes with 8. So you have 8 figures, and there might be another Iron Man in there, but you have, maybe 6 or 7, depending on the wave, figures that you're looking forward to and stuff like that. And there's a Build-A-Figure.
Right.
Around Star Wars is, here's a Luke. You put it on, I believe, Power of the Force is one of the worst cards ever.
Right.
Let's put them on that and then charge you more than the original 6-inch figure that first came out on a crap card just to say it. No Build-A-Figure, nothing special. It's just Luke on a Power of Force card. To me, that marketing and whoever came up with that idea needs to rethink their life decision.
Pretty rough statement there.
Right.
I hear you.
And the Han Solo was okay for the time as the very first wave. That was a pretty good figure. And he had accessories galore, which there's been very few figures. But this, they omit the 2 extra hands that he had in all the previous releases. So you're getting less for your money. But the thing is, these are like the Greedo and Han, that's first wave of like, when was that? 2012, 2013. So it's kind of outdated technology, outdated designs, the way the limbs, the hinges, the articulation works and stuff. It's very outmoded. So you're not getting the same quality that you even are now.
So they say, I guess with the Han, at least the photoreal face update, which, that may be the only, but I'm like you guys, $27. That's
But that's how they try to get you. Oh, his eye color is a little bit different. We photo etched this. Yeah. Really, it's the same figure.
Yeah.
Right.
Same one. Maybe even worse.
They're like, oh, here's a Darth Vader from Star Wars. New Hope. Here's Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
What's different? This.
And the thing is, I'm pretty sure wherever these 3 figures have been single packed and in stores, which in physical stores, whichever edition of it is, I've seen them all for $5 to $8, and that's the price I paid, was $5 to $8 because they've all the ones that were made at the physical stores went on clearance. And in large numbers. They were all, even Greedo, which, I love my aliens and droids. He was a peg warmer for a long time. Han, they had 20 of those Han Solos in the original one.
Toys R Us with all you seen was 30 Greedos.
Yeah.
All marked down. Like they were trying to, like, oh, you purchase this, you get Greedo for free.
Right, yeah.
We'll pay you to take it. Come on.
Yeah.
I know Han had a different variant with the glove. One had a glove, one didn't, but they had it was the same. And then they released the 2-pack with both of them in it. And you're like, okay, so I bought this, I bought that. Now I have to buy it again, but now it has a table.
Yeah, you get the table, man. Come on.
Yeah. If they were going to release it, they should just go ahead and do it that way. And then singles. Because people are going to get Greedo for the table seat and the Cantina. They're not going, hey, Greedo's a great thing. I'm going to pose him with the rest of the people. Mm-hmm. It's just, and the strangest thing is he was a peg warmer. And then now the Black Series, the original Black Series box that he was in, it's worth a lot more than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
But it was a peg warmer, and everybody just kind of blew it off.
Yeah. Joys of Hasbro collecting. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight here on Heroes and Legends. I know this is, like we said, our second installment of this. Thank you, Adam, for being our resident expert tonight.
Sure.
You did a great job on the Loki presentation. I definitely learned some information, and that's kind of a primer for the new series that's out there. And as you guys can see, whether you're watching now or later, he's got all kinds of books behind him that you can get access, just connecting with him on social media. And can I tell you, if you get one from him, he's got some nice inscriptions, does a little artwork even in some of them. So it's got a personal touch for sure. So we appreciate you hanging out with us.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, gladly.
So it was good to have Monty with us. I know he had to head out a little early, had to get the little one down to bed, and his comics. Jim, appreciate you showing some Marvel Legends love with us. So, but we'll keep building, guys. This is a new feature to the Cantina, and we'll just keep working at it. So I appreciate all of you being a part of the fun tonight. So
you guys have a great night.
Yeah, for
Thanks,
sure.
You too.
You guys have a great rest of the week. Can't wait to see what Loki gets into on Wednesday, and then the Bad Batch on Friday. So
right on.
Good deal. Well, Adam, thank you. Jaime, thanks. Good to see you. You too, McGregor family. Jim, everybody else. You guys take care of yourself, and we'll see you real soon.
All right, guys.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye.